Hello and welcome everyone again into another video. And in this video we'll be talking about the top teams in Master League Premier, not Classic. We don't have a Classic anymore. My name is Yasser Ali. I'm a Twitch streamer. I stream on Twitch most of the weekdays around 8:30 p.m. Central Time, and during the weekend around 3 p.m. Central Time. So Master League Premier Classic is known for like being the most RPS league in the past. Now I feel like it's less RPS because we have a Pokemon like Florges and Shadow Snorlax, Excadrill. Like those three are like the least RPS 3 Pokemons. Like you could say that yes, you might still get RPS by Metagross, but Metagross wasn't as like a huge of a threat like last Master League Premier. What did change from last Ultra League Premier until now? Okay, let's talk about the meta first. So we have the dragons, Garchomp, Dragonite, Metagross. They lose to Excadrill, like Dragonite. Wait, what? What's this? Oh, right. This is like the top 3 basically in the past. So it used to be Dragonite, Garchomp, and Metagross. Garchomp used to be Mudshot, and then they buffed the Dragon Tail, and it became Garchomp with Gyarados. Then because of Garchomp was everywhere, Gyarados became more popular, and then because of Gyarados became more popular, then Excadrill became a thing. Basically that's when Excadrill got the Mudshot buff. And then we started seeing like Metagross disappearing from the meta because Excadrill and Gyarados were literally everywhere, and then Shadow Snorlax took Metagross's place. And last season, or like 2 seasons ago, or like 3 seasons ago, when they introduced the Florges to the game, it took almost Shadow Snorlax's spot in the meta because it can beat a Snorlax, it beat Gyarados and all the dragons. It's not a bad matchup like against Excadrill, especially if you have energy lead. And now we've seen some Metagross in the meta. I divided the meta into like 3 different categories: good lead, counter swaps, and great or generalists, which are good everywhere. Those generals can still get RPS, but you can most of the cases you can still aggressively swap them and you won't get as punished by them. So the good lead Stoicus is being known as like the best lead to counter the dragons. Como, like the problem with Como, like when they first released it, it was like everyone was hyped about it because it's the dragon that beats all the steel, and then Dragonite gets superpower after, and it just became a superior version of the Como. And now Haxorus got the community day and it has breaking swipe, so it has like a huge threat in the meta. So you can no longer be weak to Haxorus. Why? Because if they breaking swipe throw, like if they throw a breaking swipe, let's say on the Dragonite, they can still get to another one. While before, if they throw a Dragon Claw, they still get farmed down. But with the breaking swipe debuff, you still be able to get to another breaking swipe, which is like a huge actually in the meta. Getting 2 moves mean you can still you can force them to shield at least 1, and you leave the matchup while you are double debuffing them. Otsaluna has now Ice Punch, Thunder Punch, and Fire Punch, but the problem is the fast attack is still bad. I don't know, people always say like, oh, Otsaluna doesn't need a buff, it will break the meta. It won't, trust me. Counter swap, like the Pokemons, I say like you always have to have one of those 4 to punish the opponent's swap. Let's say they swapped Excadrill, you go Snorlax, you go Conkeldurr, you just win. They swap Dragonite, you go Florges, you make sure to leave with some energy, and you should have a good game. Generals are like the Pokemons that are good everywhere. They could be in the lead, they could be in the swap, they could be in the back. They are good closers, they are good lead. They are good closers because they have the potential to nuke. They are a good lead because they have either like a decent bulk to sustain any matchups in the Turbo Shield, or they just, you know, like too good, like Metagross, like Excadrill, like Garchomp, like Dragonite. So some core breakers that still do exist. I don't know, I have this like from season 4, but I still have it here. I do believe that one day people will use them. The only Pokemon here that's worth mentioning is this Mamoswine. Mamoswine is the best core breaker. As a core breaker, it's still not good of a core, but it's a good core breaker. Dream Arena is good for those people who use double charm. The best team from last season was Excadrill, Gyarados, Dragonite, and Gyarados is there to bait out the fairies if they have a fairy, so Excadrill can finish it, and then Dragonite just clean the back. You could run this team literally in any order. You could lead Gyarados, safe swap Excadrill. You could lead Dragonite, safe swap either of these. This team was like the most popular one, but that doesn't mean like the team that was getting lots of wins. But after the breaking swipe one, I expect this team to be like the most meta team. Why? Because Haxorus is a good lead, and you have 2 steel in the back to punish those Dragonites. Those steel still need a shield to be the Dragonite because Dragonite is just too good. You might replace one of those with this Pokemon here. One of those two with this Pokemon, Florges, to prevent like the RPS by a Dragonite. So as an example, if you see Gyarados in the lead, if you see Dragonite, you could just, I don't know, go one of these and then like save. I don't know. It's up to you. The meta is like pretty limited and it is only like 7-8 Pokemons people use. So it's up to you. That's why the team I use has always to have a Snorlax Shadow. Why? It's the least RPS Pokemon in this cup. And I like Florges because it's kind of a charge move dependent Pokemon. So, and against everything except Metagross, you still have a play. And if there's like a Magnezone in the lead, I can just go Snorlax and maybe do something. Pray that I will call a bait or shield and Nuke or something. Another Haxorus team from previous season was Togekiss, Gyarados, Haxorus. Why Haxorus over Dragonite or Garchomp? Because Haxorus is one of the best anti-steal. Like Gyarados is a good anti-steal, but it doesn't wall the steal. Why Haxorus with a shield can farm down most of the steal. If you get a Night Slash boost, you literally sweep. Again, this team was basically the same as the first team, but in different order. And that was a team that was very popular and people run. Some people always decide to run Magnezone. What does Magnezone do? If you catch a Dragonite in the lead, if you catch... I mean, Dragonite, you still need to shield a superpower. But you could always call the Dragon Claw bait, right? If you can catch a Fairy lead, it's pretty much a GG. Because if it's a Fairy lead, they have to swap to Snorlax, you go Machamp, or to Dragonite, and then you'll go to Gyarados. Just as like that. The team I was running last season was Gyarados, Snorlax, Florges. But with this season, I'm gonna replace Gyarados with the Dragonite because I like it more because of it has more stab damage. Okay, let's be honest. I have a Shondo Dragonite, okay? I'm just gonna use that. I have a Shondo Dragonite. I should be using that. Gyarados with a Fairy is still a good team, but you still need the Excadrill. With Gyarados, you like it's kind of a must to have Excadrill with Gyarados. Why? Those two comes together always because they are the least RPS Pokemons in the meta. Most of the meta, again, it's not that very creative of a meta. There's like 6 to 8 up to 10 Pokemons at max. You'll see it's more limited than Master League Open. Like, look at this: Gyarados, Snorlax, Florges, or Togekiss. You just choose a 3 of those Pokemons you see, and then you have a team. Gyarados, Dragonite, Snorlax. That's a team. ABA Flyers. Gyarados, double steal. Metagross, Gyarados, Dragonite. So you use Dragonite to bait out. I think with this one you have to run Waterfall Gyarados, and you use a Dragonite to bait out the Excadrill. By the way, Dragonite can easily live a Rock Slide from Excadrill, so you can no shield that, and then you start throwing superpowers. The best team from last season was Dragonite Double Steal. The season before was Haxorus Double Steal. The one before it was Garchomp, Togekiss, and Snorlax. And Excadrill. The one before, this team has been one of the most meta teams ever since they introduced Primarina to the meta. Okay? Sylveon. You need Sylveon, and the second Charmer could be either of those. I call this team no skills, tap to legend. Why? With this team, you just tap your screen. If you think other Pokemons are just a waste, just build yourself a Gyarados and 2 Charmers, and you get yourself a team that people use to hit legend every season. And yeah, I try to make it fast and productive so you can guys get all the knowledge you need to do in this cup. Yeah, good luck with your climb if you're climbing, and if you need a team, hopefully this video was helpful to you and you got yourself like lots of ideas so you can use. Thank you so much for watching. If you like the video, please leave a like, and if you like the channel, make sure to subscribe, and see you in the next one. Peace.